it's good. So while we are waiting on a few people, how many of you guys are finding it difficult, or myself, I'm just barely getting into the rhythm after the holidays. It's like it takes me longer to get back. Allah, I totally get that. I feel okay. I totally understand that. You don't want to see you like this. I'm under the weather today. Oh, honey, hope you guys feel better. I hope you feel better. Yeah. Um, so I feel like it takes me longer to get back into the rhythm than I was off of work. So I don't know if I'm alone with that. How are you feeling, How's? Are you back into the rhythm?
I'm getting there slowly and but surely. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of feels like it. All right. So we are here today for Cooking Up Success. Um, for those of you guys who have been around for a little while, I was doing Cooking Up Success um, live training. We originally started live in the Facebook group, and then we took it off of Facebook and we put it into Zoom, and then we post the Zoom onto Facebook. But now what we're doing, and that was weekly. Now this month we're doing a series just to kick off the new year to fix the leaks, the hidden places your business is quietly losing time and money. And then we will be doing it weekly. I mean monthly until we have another fun series. But what we're doing is we're trying to be more intentional and trying to give you, here's how you do this. And then when you're done, you're going to learn this type of content instead of me just training. So Hallie has a workbook. She just dropped it into our chat. If you didn't get it via email, it is available there. So this month, what we're doing, as I mentioned, we're going to just be doing this monthly, but in January we're doing this series, and it's an implementation series. So you each week will be leaving with things that you can do to help you fix your leaks, because we start the year like all gung ho, and we have our goals and we have our, all the things. But if you're building it on a leaky foundation, you're only going to get so far with all of that effort. And then it's going to be like you're swimming upstream. So working harder does not fix the leaks. So by the end of this series, most of you, like we all have other leaks, but you're gonna clearly see the major areas where your business is leaking profit and energy. So our goal is that today you will have patched at least the leak that we're talking about today. Last week we talked about unpaid labor, and we're carrying the same theme about it's not about doing more. It's just stopping that unnecessary loss. Like I'll tell you one thing right now that I don't believe we have in our series this month, but y'all go to your bookkeeping program and look and see what subscriptions you have. Are you using all of those? That's an easy leak to fix. Okay. So last week, unpaid labor. This week, we're talking about an authority drift. Next week, we're talking about boundaries and systems. And then our final leak this month is going to be underpricing, which, by the way, we also have a pricing workshop coming up. So we're doing a lot about making sure that you're not just pricing, but you're pricing strategically. Awesome. Thank you, Hals. Yeah. Oh, yes, Alla, I did see that. I did see that you just registered recently, maybe today. So thank you very much.
Yeah, there's two different things. There's a pricing workshop.
Yeah.
Do you want to go through the
No, go ahead, baby. Yeah.
our series this month is like how to fix the fundamental things that you're already in business, things are going along. And if you just try to pile on more goals and strategy and marketing, but the foundation isn't working well, like let's fix those leaks. One of those leaks this week is pricing. So that'll be the last week of this month, and it's an overview of where are the places you can fix the leaks in your pricing.
Thank
That's
you. Yes, we're not
a
teaching how to
free
price.
workshop. It's part of the series. Additionally, what you signed up for, Ala, is our pricing workshop, which is a 3 hour intensive where we are literally giving you our hour, like it's mine, Michelle's pricing model,
It's
where
all
you
big.
can actually see her. She's like, these are the pricing range and how you can decide what services you're going to offer, how to price those. You will walk away with a very clear understanding of what your actual price range should be per square foot for a flat fee,
Mhm.
so we're walking you through that process like we do in the in our paid program. So it's a paid workshop. It's a small fee for it. You get the replay. There's a full workbook. Like it's a really really good workshop. So we are going to touch on pricing this month as far as fixing some things, but actually giving you pricing models and
Mhm.
formulas. I'll pop the links in here in a second, but I just want to clarify those two things. So they're two
Perfect.
different things. You can attend both, but we would love for you to attend both. But yeah. So I'll pop the
Absolutely.
link in
Yeah.
just a second. I just want to clarify both those things.
Thanks, House. Yes. So the fixing the leaks is on the 28th. Same, it's on a Wednesday in 2 weeks from today. And then the pricing workshop is on the 20th, which is a Tuesday. So that helps clarify that as well. Um, okay, so before we get started, I just want to remind you if actually let me ask you this, guys. In the chat, let me know, were you here last week? Were you here last week when we talked about unpaid labor? Super helpful for me to know who I'm talking to. Yes, Maria, Julianne, Alla, fantastic. Okay. Yolanda, Lauren. Okay, good. So we've got some new faces, we've got some old faces. I say old. I don't mean like your face is old. I'm saying you were here last week. Okay, so we've got a couple. No, okay, good. So there is a replay. Hallie will pop the replay in at the end of today's sesh so that you don't get lost. Um, so you don't get lost with that. You can watch that. So let me just reiterate, okay? You don't have to have last week's content to build on this week. But one of the things that I was really wanting to make sure that I hammered in is to set the framework for what the series is this month and what it isn't, okay? This month's Cooking Up Success weekly workshop series is not about hustling harder, setting bigger goals, or pushing yourself to do more. Okay. This is just finding and fixing the quiet leaks in your business. These are the ones that drain your time, your energy, and your profit, even when things are looking fine from the outside. I take a lot of this directly from my business, because even when you've been in business for as long as I have, you have to go back and revisit a lot of the basics just to make sure that you are maintaining them, because I might think they're being done, but if my team's not doing them, or if you think they're being done by yourself, but you really know in the back of your head that they're not, well, then just bring them to the forefront. And that's what we're doing. Okay. We're not chasing growth. We are truly just stabilizing the foundation. So I can speak from experience that when the business is steady, growth is sustainable. When there are too many leaks, the growth is exhausting, because you just imagine, remember that little um, story, whatever it was, about the boy who was plugging all the leaks in the dam. Okay. It's exhausting. So my role is not to overwhelm you or give you more to manage. It's to help you see what's actually happening in your business and show you how to build structure that supports it instead of just relying on willpower. Okay. And in fact, I just wrote my new weekly email. If you guys are not getting it, check your spam. On Thursdays, I'm starting to send out emails about kind of like what's going on, like what I'm recognizing, things that I'm feeling in the market, things along that line. And I just wrote one. Y'all, I used to just be a hard charger and just like power my way through it. And it was all about, that willpower. And I'm just not feeling that that's sustainable. Or you get to a certain point and you still try to push through, but it's like pushing your head up against a rock. So let's build that structure that supports you. So we're going to start by fixing another leak. So for those of you who might be new, not just to today's session, but to this little ecosystem, my name is Michelle Lynn, and I'm an interior designer, business owner, and educator. For the last, gosh, I calculated it, 7 years or so, I have had the blessing of working with interior designers at all stages of business. Okay. What I'm known for is helping designers build businesses that actually support them, and not just creatively, but operationally and financially. And I don't just teach theory, I teach what works like in real life, boots on the ground, real projects, real businesses. So the series comes from what I've seen in my business, what I've seen in other designers' businesses. Designers doing great work, but carrying more than they should because the business has not been structured to protect them. And maybe it was like my business was structured to protect me. And then things just start to leak. It's like owning a house. You got to do preventative maintenance. So last week we talked about unpaid labor and all the extra work that somehow sneaks in without ever getting paid for. Okay. It's just that thinking, back and forth. Well, just one more thing. Just one more thing's not going to be that big of a deal. But here's what I want to name. That kind of work doesn't usually show up randomly. It shows up when something's missing. Okay. Now, we could have done authority last week because that's usually what's missing. Okay. We talk about being people pleasers and all of that sort of jazz. But what it comes down to, it's not confidence, it's not people pleasing, it's not experience, but what it is it's that clear leadership inside the project. It's like being a parent. Who's guiding? Who's moving it forward? What's holding the structure when you're not actively pushing it along? Okay. Take that from your family and relate it to your business. So when authority isn't clear, what happens is we just keep talking. We fill in the gaps. Okay. We try to explain more. We just checking in more. Okay. We stay available longer. That's where the unpaid labor starts. So today it's not about being tougher or more assertive. This is going to apply to all 4 weeks, but authority is kind of like the underlying current. So what it's about is learning a little bit more about how authority works in your business. And especially when you don't have clear processes in place, you're just kind of figuring it out as you go. So let's just start by talking about what authority actually is and what it isn't. Okay. Authority, surprisingly, it's not confidence, because y'all can be confident until you're blue in the face at how solid your design is. Okay. You could be in business for 20 years and have plenty of experience. You could be a bull in a china shop and have a strong personality. Okay. So it's none of that. Authority is simply who is guiding the project and what's holding the structure when you're not actively managing it. So what I've seen, and feel free, y'all, don't hesitate if you have a hallelujah you want to drop, or if you have a question you want to drop. But what I've seen is that most designers assume that authority comes from, I've done this before, okay? Or it's that confidence of, I know what I'm doing creatively. Like, I know exactly what this room's going to look like. I was talking to somebody last week. She and I were talking about getting her signed up for my one-on-one coaching. And she said, Michelle, I can see the room. I know exactly what it's going to be. But I've had clients tell me that to get to that point has been very difficult because they didn't understand, what was happening. Okay. So authority in a business is deeply rooted in processes. It's not the talent of knowing what that beautiful room looks like. Because what happens is if there's not a process, the client feels lost. Okay. So the authority moves to the client's preferences, the client's urgency, the client's anxiety, and the loudest voice in the room. So have anybody here, have you guys had a project where if you looked back, you were like, I wasn't leading it? And so the client was really anxious and was bugging me all the time. The client impacted the design because they wanted their preferences because they weren't confident in me leading their processes. Or maybe they were the loudest voice in the room. Now, I've had that one. I've had the person who's the loudest voice in the room basically hijack. Okay. And it's not because the client was difficult, but because somebody has to lead. Does that make sense to you guys? Somebody has to lead. And the people who hire us as designers, they're generally professionals. Okay. They're well established, they're successful in their industry, they're leaders, they're used to leading. So if you're not doing it, they're just going to take over. Okay. And it's not because they're jerks, it's just because they're used to it. Budget constraints, client took over this, paying you as needed basis. It was a disaster. Allah, yeah, I get it. Okay. And it's not by any fault of your own. Like this is not something that people teach how to have authority. Okay. But I can tell, let's just talk about the way it breaks down. And then we're going to talk about how you get it back. Okay. So maybe you had it. Okay. So all it sounds like you had control of the project to a certain extent. And I'm not throwing you under the bus, babe. I'm just using you as an example. So thank you. And Maria has one of those projects now. So the project starts well. You have the authority. Everybody's excited. Okay. You're starting strong. You're like, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to get there. Here's our timing. Okay. You're leading those decisions. The beauty is starting to come alive. But then maybe like decisions get reopened. Like, oh, well, we already decided on that. But the client doesn't remember. Okay, so then the timelines start to slide. And then you're feeling the client's anxiety. So you start checking in. How's this going? How's your decision making coming along with this? Have you decided on which headboard you want? Okay, so you're checking in instead of directing. Okay, and here's what I did. Yeah, I can pretty much say that I can guide this process a lot better now than I did before. I would say, and then when I catch myself saying this is when I have to turn it around. This is my catchphrase. I don't know what yours is. We can revisit that. Okay. Does anybody use that same phrase? La 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 la. Oh, absolutely. Well, we can revisit that. No. When I say that, I'm like, okay, hold on, put a pin in that. Let's decide that now. And I take control and I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing. So when you feel that decisions are reopening, you start checking in instead of guiding, where your timelines are starting to get a little hinky. Okay. Or maybe you have a catchphrase. If anybody has a catchphrase, put it in here because you might not know what your catchphrase is, but you might need to hear it from somebody else and you'll recognize it. Okay. Nothing dramatic happens. Nothing dramatic happens, but everything just kind of softens. Okay. It's like I didn't go to the gym for a couple of months. My pants I didn't go up a size, but my tummy was a lot softer. Okay. So it's nothing dramatic. But on the other hand, what if authority just never shows up? Okay. Because it can't actually drift out if it never was in. This usually happens if you don't have defined phases, pricing, or processes. Okay, now that's now my love language. And a lot of it is because I had to go through a lot of the leaks that we're talking about. But I had to find my voice in my interior design business because I didn't have the authority, because I didn't have the confidence, okay? Because I didn't have the processes. It's like if I were to hop in my car right now and drive, let's see, I'm in Texas. Let's say I was going to drive to New York City without a map, without, Siri navigating me. I would be all over the freaking place. I would probably end up in Montana. Okay. And then I'd detour back down to New York. So if you don't have defined phases or pricing or processes, you don't have a roadmap, you don't have a recipe of where to go. You don't even know what comes next in your own project steps. Y'all, I am speaking from full experience, making it up as you go. So even if the design is excellent and you know exactly where you're going, if you're not guiding the client exactly through that map, well, then they're going to try to take that authority back. So instead of leading with structure, what you're doing is you're leading with effort. You compensate by being responsive. Like, oh, they're calling. I better reassure them by answering the phone. It doesn't reassure them, it just reassures them that you're breathing. Okay. It doesn't reassure them that you have confidence or that you have this under control. Okay. Or you compensate by being flexible and being available. Okay. You don't necessarily need to be known as easy to work with. Okay. That sounds like a compliment. Oh, yeah. Michelle was real easy to work with. Well, it's because, the client's like, well, because I did it all. Okay. What's happened is your authority is missing a container in your business. So drop it in the chat. Does this do either of these? Like you start with authority and then it leaves, or you show up without authority. Do either of those sound familiar? Because if the answer is no, you can probably have an extra half hour back in your life. Ella, Angie, Thea, Ella. Yep. Okay. Good, good, good. So let's talk about how this shows up day to day. Okay. What it sounds like. Again, we can explore that. So let's say somebody says, okay, so Michelle, I know you said that we should probably do two sofas parallel to each other because of the shape of the room. But I really want a sectional. Okay. And you say, well, we can explore that. Okay, y'all, that's not showing authority. Authority is like, I understand that you would really like that. Here's why it won't work. Boom, right then and there. Or let's just keep using that example. So you really want a sectional, but you know it's not going to work because you've already space planned it. And you would say, let me double check. Okay, no, there's no need to double check. What you're telling the client right there is like, oh, I didn't double check my work when I was doing it. Does that make sense? Okay. And then there's also emails where you're just looping back. Okay. And you're not moving anything forward. It's like, hey, I'm just looping back. Are you guys cool with the fact that you can't have the sectional? Okay. You're not moving anything forward. You are the person who's driving the bus. Okay. Or that sectional, let's just say they get a little bit of, oh, we really want a sectional. We told you we wanted a sectional. I love to snuggle when we're watching football. I need a sectional. Well, we can probably make that work. Okay. When you know you can't, but you're just delaying this difficult conversation because somebody starts to whine. It's the same thing with my 7-year-old. The answer is no. Now quit asking. Okay. Now, sometimes I do get that straightforward with my kid. Not quite the same with our clients. Okay. But what this is doing is this is reopening decisions. No, it's two sofas and not a sectional. Over explaining your rationale, too many options. What is that? What that feels mushy. That feels like my tummy right here when I'm not exercising consistently. Okay, it's not like I have a six pack. Let's just be clear about that. But you get the point, okay? And here's what happens, nothing ever feels finished. So that's the tell. When authority is intact, things move forward. Okay. When authority is not intact, everything just kind of sits. Allie, that's funny. Um, okay, so let's connect this back to last week. And you didn't have to be here last week. This will make sense. And then you can go back and watch last week's stuff. Okay. When authority isn't clearly held, we fill the gaps with labor. Okay. Like, oh, I didn't tell them that I wasn't going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do so. Or, oh, okay, hold on. Here's an example. They really want that sectional. Let me go back and see if I can fit it in, even though I did the floor plan 47 times. You're not getting paid for that labor. Your timeline is expanding because a decision was made that's getting unmade. And then you're exhausted because you're like, oh, I told you it's not going to work. But yet you're going back and you're double checking it when you know it's not going to work. Okay. This is why unpaid labor from last week, it feels endless. You're not just doing the extra work, you're holding the project together manually. Okay. You become the reminder system, the decision tracker, the momentum keeper, the emotional buffer. Like, think about the emotions that you're dealing with the clients, those wishy washy clients. They need you to make a decision. Mom, I can't find this. This was this morning. I can't find my gold shoes. No, my sparkly gold shoes. Genevieve, it's because they're in the living room by the stairs. Mom, I can't find them. Just put on the pink shoes and go. It's time to go. Okay. Okay. She was perfectly fine with the pink shoes. Yet she kept wandering around looking for the gold sparkly shoes. Okay. That's structural work. It's heavy, it's exhausting. Does that resonate with any of y'all? Like, I'm getting tired just thinking about it. And I'm so freaking grateful that I'm not at that point in my business anymore. I really hope that you guys are not feeling that level of exhaustion on a daily basis. But if you are, here's the shift that I want you to make today. Authority does not come from being more decisive, more divisive. Okay. It comes from having a default way that things are done. That's it. When you do not have standard operating procedure, even simple ones, every moment requires judgment. Does anybody here love Chick-fil-A? Like, I don't really eat fast food, but if I do, I love Chick-fil-A. Yes, Hallie, yes, Chick-fil-A. Okay, no, seriously, nobody else here likes Chick-fil-A. Okay, thank you, Maria. Nobody else? Okay, I'm just going to tell you, Chick-fil-A drive-through is a freaking well-oiled machine. Okay. Hey, Robin, good to see you. Robin is the exception to the rule. Okay. But let's just take anything that you love. But I'm going to use Chick-fil-A drive-through. It is amazing. Okay. What they have is they have standard operating procedures. You buy the franchise, you get exactly how things work. Even like, have you ever noticed that they say my pleasure? They don't say you're welcome. I don't remember why, but they have standard operating procedure. Okay. What you're deciding is in your project, what happens next, how long things should take. Okay. What happens next? They put their order in. Okay. how long things should take. They know how long it's going to take to cook up that sandwich or to get your nuggets or to pull your salad, whatever that looks like. Okay. What you're deciding is how many options are enough. Chick-fil-A drive-through already has that. Well, would you like French fries? Or you want a big size? Do you want a small size? Do you want the meal? Okay. For the kids, it's like, do you want fruit or do you want fries? That's it. Okay. Standard operating procedures should be driving your business. Okay. And then you know when something's done. When you know that that damn sectional is not going to work, that decision is done. Okay. But when there's no default, everything feels negotiable. Okay. So maybe I go to Chick-fil-A and I say, hey, I actually want a hamburger. Really, Michelle, you're at Chick-fil-A. Okay. So that's where the standard operating procedures, it does one very important thing. It removes the need for constant justification. You're no longer saying, well, this is what I think we should do. What you're saying is, this is how we do it. And that one shift, y'all, I cannot tell you how empowering that is. Like that one shift. It's not, this is what I think we should do. It's like I am the badass expert, and I'm saying this is how we do it. Isn't there a song about that, Hallie? This is how we do it. Na, 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 na. What song is that? I see you dancing.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, I could break into the song, but I won't.
Bring it on, girl. Bring it on. So, I mean, seriously, if you guys need a song of the year, maybe that's your song of the year. Okay. Because that one shift changes everything. It's not personal, it's not emotional, and it's not up for debate. Sorry, Genevieve. It's not personal. We got to get to school. It's not emotional. We got to get to school. And it's not up for debate. Get your damn shoes on. We got to go. Okay. And your pink shoes are where they're supposed to be, unlike your sparkly gold shoes that you're looking for. Structure. Everything has a place. Okay. Standard operating procedures do not make your business rigid. It makes your authority repeatable. When Genevieve has her shoes exactly where they're supposed to be, we can get out the door easily, repeatably. Okay, so let's talk about how we install this authority. I'm getting all worked up. I want you to think about one place in your projects where things consistently feel messy. One place. Now, maybe you have 12 places, but let's just think about one. Okay, it could be your sales process. Do you have a sales process? It could be your pricing. Do you have standard, repeatable, I say transparent, let's just say explainable pricing? Okay. What about the process of developing the design? Does that include presenting the single best solution? Okay. Or are you giving them multiple options? Yes, Yolanda, good. This is how we do it. The way we work is rock on. Okay. What about the collection of payment for the purchases and getting paid prior to the procurement process? Okay. Moving from the ordering to the installation. And what about the punch list completion? Like the punch list completion is a bitch sometimes. Okay. But if you have standard operating procedures, pick one of these. Okay. Just pick one of these. Now write this down. Okay. This should be in your workbook. The place where I feel the least in control is. When you have that written down, just type in done in the chat. The place where I feel the least in control is sales process, pricing, design development, presentation, collecting payment. Okay, when you have that blank filled in, write done. Awesome. Okay. So, good. Thank you. So what usually happens there? Okay. Sales, employees, qualified leads, sales and pricing. In your workbook, in a checklist, notice, is there too much back and forth? Are there unclear expectations? No clear next step? Are you the glue holding this show together? Been there. Not so long ago, I found myself back into being the glue. That's exhausting. Exhausting. I'm getting my hair done tomorrow. Y'all should see the amount of grays I've got hidden in here. Thank goodness for dry shampoo. Okay. So, what usually happens? Too much back and forth, unclear expectations, no clear next step. So, here's the implementation. If this were a standard operating procedure, what would always be true? Always be true. Okay, again, these are in the worksheet. Feedback is gathered in one place. Decisions are final at this stage. This step has a beginning and an end. There's a clear approval moment. Okay, you don't have to write the full standard operating procedure, but what you're defining right now is the authority anchor. And some of these things may not be exactly related to where you've got this authority leak, but authority increases the moment the work becomes predictable. Okay, even in our industry, when the design is creative. Let me repeat that for those of you in the back. Authority increases the moment the work becomes predictable, even if the design is creative. So when you have a defined sales process, the work is predictable. We have our standard we have our steps. Okay? Qualifying call. If you guys have been through rolling in the dough, which I think we sunset a while ago, but it's a qualifying call. It's a meet and greet. It's the initial visit. It's the scope of work presentation of the scope of work in the contract. Okay. Sales, pricing model. We've got our workshop that we're going to be going over that. Okay. But what you just identified, that's where the authority belongs. Okay. So it might feel simple. But it's a big deal because this is not more work for you. This does not require you to be more confident or more assertive. It certainly does not require you to be more disciplined or better at holding boundaries. You don't need to change yourself. What you change is the structure around you. You're giving yourself this container to work within. So the moment you named this default, okay, the way something happens every time, authority will show up naturally, not because you forced it, but because the business stopped asking you to decide everything from scratch. You're recreating the wheel over and over and over again. So the shift that I want you to take today is that authority isn't something that you perform. It's something that your business either supports or it quietly leaks. Okay. That's our series, is the leaks in your business. Authority isn't something you perform. It's something your business either supports or it quietly leaks. When there's no structure, you become the structure. And that's fucking exhausting. Exhausting. what I have found is that the designers who feel the most calm in their business, they're not necessarily calmer people. They just are not carrying everything anymore. Okay. There's no, or I can't say that there's never, there's just fewer wonders, fewer questions that come up of like, am I doing too much here? Is this normal? Should I push back or why does this feel so heavy? Because the business knows what's coming next, what's included, what's done, and what requires a pause. Okay. When your business knows what comes next, what's included, what's done, what requires a pause, it's not rigidity. Is that a word? Rigidity. Okay. It's relief. And I'll say that once you start tasting that, it's so hard to go back. It's so hard to come back. Now, I'll say that's exactly why I've created my coaching programs. Okay. The Key Ingredients Live is something that we are offering, not to teach you how to be a different kind of designer, but to help your business finally catch up to who you already are. Okay. What we're doing is we're taking the 4 leaks that we're talking about this month and so many others, but the places that feel fuzzy, the places that feel heavy or over dependent on you. Okay, y'all, this really hits close to my heart because I have been in the midst of that with I had some employee turnover. I had an employee just up and move. Okay. And it was heavy because it's over dependent on me. But here's the thing is it didn't take me long to get out of the weeds because I have clear processes, simple SOPs, and a client flow that actually holds that authority for me. That's what I'm teaching in the Key Ingredients Live. So instead of managing everything like manually, what happens is your business starts to do some of the work for you. So today, if it helped you see where authority's been missing or where you've been quietly compensating with effort or where this has been leaking, okay, your next step could be the Key Ingredients. I think it should be. Not because you're behind, but because you're ready for something to feel easier. So if you want to see what this actually looks like, how the support is structured and how authority gets built into your business, Hallie's going to walk you through that next. Now, here's the thing. You're welcome to stay on the Zoom. There's no pressure to decide today, but this is an opportunity. I mentioned it last week, the Key Ingredients Live. Let me tell you just a little bit about it real quick. And here, if you've got what you need for today, if you understand how you can start implementing the authority and creating your standard operating procedures, I don't want you to feel like you need to stay here. Okay. I'm going to give you the recipe, how to do it. But if you feel like you've already got that handled, like we said, the training's going to be 45 minutes. So here we are straight up. Yay, me. Like, yay. 45 minutes straight up, Hallie. I don't think that happens very often.
Congratulations.
But, yeah. So a pat on the back. So if you're a baker, yes, thank you, Hallie. If you are a baker, this is included. But basically what we're doing is we're running through the key ingredients that I have pulled out from my interior design business bakery, which is my signature program. Okay. We talk about everything from, revisiting who your ideal client is. Okay. But before we do that, we talk about who you are, who are you and what makes you a badass. Okay. So these are the things that you're going to take away. Who you are, what makes you a badass. Okay. Which you will be using in some content in future spaces. We're going to be talking, you're going to know who your ideal client is. You're going to learn how to talk to them, okay, through the various channels that you can connect with them. Networking, social media, blogs, email newsletters, like how do you get in front of your clients? Okay, you're going to learn how to price your projects, every single step of it. We talk about the flat fee. Where do you have retainers? You learn different service levels that you can provide to your clients because not everybody needs full service concierge level interior design. You learn, you take away exactly how you price your furnishings. How do you purchase it strategically? How do you sell it strategically? So once you have this entire foundation done, then what you learn is how to take these, once they start calling you, how do you navigate your sales process? How do you explain to your client, this is how I charge? Here's how my design fees are calculated. Okay. You're not going to lift up your skirt and show them everything, but you give them enough that they are confident that your authority lends to the credibility. Here's how I charge. Here's what I do with furniture. I am the retailer. I sell you the furniture. This is how it works. Here's the other fees that you can anticipate. And then what you're learning is this container of how you run your projects. Do you know when you sign the contract, when your design presentation is going to be? We do. When we get a signed contract, we're putting the design project on the books. And we have, depending on the project, we have anywhere between 4 and 8 appointments that are very structured between the signing of the contract and the design presentation. The client understands exactly what they're getting. When I have new people starting the project, starting with my business, this is how you do it. I don't waver in my training with them. Like, here's your roadmap, babe. Here's how you get from Dallas to New York City without ending up in Montana. You go from here to here to here to here to here to here to here. Rest stop here. Stop for dinner overnight here, and then keep driving. So we do all of that. Procurement, exactly how you share with your client exactly what needs to be done and why you should be getting paid for it, how to go about doing it, the nuances of the installation, and then that damn checklist at the end. So if you want to transform your business, this is what Hallie's gonna go over with you and how to navigate it. So Hallie, I think I'm gonna hand it over to you. I'm gonna hop off.
Okay.
Hallie, we'll take it from here. There's no pressure to decide today. It's an opportunity to see if this is the right next step for you. So thanks, Hals.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys for sticking around. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. And
Oh,
next week,
and will
just
you stop recording too? Or do you want it recorded?
let's go ahead and just keep it.
Okay. Okay,
Back
perfect.
to it. So just a reminder, next week we're going to be talking about the leaks that happen with weak boundaries and systems. So have a good afternoon. Thanks, Hals.
Okay, bye. Okay. Um, I'm just gonna give you, everybody likes to see things in different ways, right? Like some want to say, like, show me the inside of the course, and some want to know, like, what does it look like when I belong in this container? So I'm going to show you guys a couple different things. The first one is we tested this in this fall, and we called it back to school. Like, hey, we're going back to school and learning the basics. And we learned a lot from that round of the way we taught this, and we've made some adjustments. We also learned a lot about how our designers are learning things inside our marketing membership, monthly membership called the Lead Lab, and where we have implementation calls. So we kind of blended some things together. So it's going to take us about 4 weeks. I mean, 4 months. So we're going to do this together. So this is not listen to this module, learn this stuff, try to figure it out, and we're here for questions. That's not how this works. This is a live, you're in a container with us and other designers where we're going through this week by week. It's going to take about 4 months. give or take. So, if there's a holiday and we have to skip something, it might go a little bit further, but it's about 4 months. But over 4 months, we're going to cover the four building blocks of your business. And the first one would be branding and marketing. The second would be services and pricing. The third is how you take someone from a sales call through the sales call into client onboarding, because you actually start onboarding your client almost like immediately when during the sales process. So these are Michelle's magical systems and processes that have her have a huge amount of authority when she's running her projects. And we're building this together week by week on the calls with you. And I'm noticing a font difference in size on this sales page. So I will acknowledge that and I'll fix it later. And then once they're signed on a client, how to actually run the project. So Michelle did kind of just run over this with you, but this is part of the sales process that on the sales page that might help those that want to see it in this way. Like this is we're going to be 4 months, four core parts. It doesn't mean that 1 month is all brand and marketing and 1 month is all services and pricing. Like one of these might, just be 3 weeks and this might be 6 weeks or so, you know what I mean? So, but 4 months, four core parts of your business: branding and marketing, services and pricing, sales and onboarding, and running the design project. I'm talking everything like the templates, the checklists, her pricing sheets, like everything you need to know about how you run your business. We're going to do it together. And we're going to do it together in 2 calls a week. So the first call of a week is a learning. So we have one live training call each week. That'll be Tuesdays, where we learn what we're teaching you. The next day, we're going to co-work and implement it together. So if we're teaching you something and you're like, I don't know, if like, let's say we're going to do a meet and greet slide deck, like, let's talk about the meet and greet slide deck. Well, what are you going to put on that slide deck? Like, we're going to help you build this together. So this is no longer like, here's a course, buy it, and we're here for some calls. We're going to do this together. I'm not saying I'm going to get on Canva and do it with you, but you know what I'm saying? Like down to the nitty gritty, we're going to help you make sure that you're learning it, understanding it, and implementing it. So there's one live training call a week and one co-working session a week. In addition to that, you have access to Michelle's office hours for a deeper dive into, if there's something else that you're challenged with that you might skip ahead on something, you can attend the office hours and get that call, that question answered in our office hours. You have replays of all the live calls, and you have lifetime access to key ingredients. And the key ingredients is the pre-recorded modules. This is you also get a course, but we're teaching it live. So you have access to the course and the call replays forever. But let's say we're working on something in marketing related and you have a pricing question, and you can list, you do have the availability to just go to a pricing module or something else and listen to a pre-recorded one, but that's just like as a backup. So you'll have access to that forever. 2 calls a week, and then you also there's 1 week a month where we won't be meeting, and you'll have office hours that week. So, we've spread that out over 6 month payments for 274 to make it reasonable. Or if you do a one-time pay, you get a 10% discount. So this is the same price that we've always been offering the key ingredients course for, that had no training and no coaching and no calls at all. We're just adding this now as a layer. Some people want more. So we're noticing in our back to school, they wanted more past when those 4 months were up. So if you want to upgrade to the premium, we kept the price the same for monthly. It's just you get all of the things that you get in the standard, but you get an additional call each month, like you get the office hours calls with Michelle, but you get another call. So after the key ingredients live is over, let's say, month 5, 6, whatever, you will get 2 calls a month that are office hours. We have monthly master classes for her coaching clients. This month was on copywriting. It was yesterday. It was phenomenal on how interior designers need to a formula really for copywriting for interior designers. It was amazing. So each month we have a master class that is like their niche. Sometimes it's mindset, sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's like tech related, like learning about softwares or programs. Sometimes it's a commercial interior designer coach will come in and speak to that. So you get a monthly master class of that. If we update a process or procedure 2 or 3 or 4 months after the key ingredients live is over, you will get the update to that process and any templates that go with it. Michelle also has a whole bank of templates. You get access to that, and you get to be in our private Facebook community. So there's two levels. One of them, the basic, it was just great. It's a 4 month. It'll be a little bit. It might be a little bit longer than 4 months, but it'll probably be very because we tested the cadence of the training, and it was about 4 months. I am putting the final touches on this new container. So if you were to sign up, you wouldn't have access like today, but it'll be by the end of the week that you'll have access to the course. So you could start listening to things and messing around earlier than that, and you will have lifetime access to it. So it's not like it goes away after 4 months. The calls just go away. So you can do either that, the premium or the standard. And we start February 3rd. And the inside of the course looks like this. You guys have probably seen this before. So this is the stuff that we go over live, but you will have access to this. Plus, we have a bunch of master coach calls that we're just giving there as little bonuses. So I did one on referral power teams. We have a social media content creator that did a two-part training for us. So we have a mindset on pricing power. There's, you know, this is the insides of Michelle's program that you will have access to lifetime. Um, so I think that's only the insides that I wanted to show you. So do you guys have any questions on that? Because I know it could be a lot to take in. So you'll be with us Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I think one of them's at noon and one of them's at 10 Central, the calls. I think it's like a Tuesday at noon and then Wednesday around 10 o'clock. And we kick off February 3rd. And like each week we're taking something, we're deep diving it, and we're walking you through it. And then the next day we're co-working it with you, answering questions, actually putting pen to paper. So yeah, what questions do you guys have? Any? No? Okay, we start the 3rd. Some people come in like a week or two into it, which is fine. You can always play catch up if you want. Maybe not too far into it, but I mean, you don't have to decide today. But I will send the link to sign up with the replay of this call as well. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me. I'm going to put my email in the chat. You're welcome. Oops. Hello@thedesignbakehouse.com. So you can just email me if you have any questions about the program, like which level would be a fit for you. If you hear like, oh, the Lead Lab marketing membership, if you have questions about that, I can help you with that. Michelle also just updated her availability and ways that you can work with her one-to-one. And then we have a pricing workshop too. Every month we're going to try to do a free workshop for you and a paid workshop for you, low ticket paid. But next month is going to be on marketing strategies for interior designers. So that'll be probably a 3 hour workshop as well. So we're going to try to offer you something really hearty at about a $50 price tag. And so this month it's the pricing workshop, and next month it'll be marketing related. So keep an eye on our emails, and if you have any suggestions or requests for future trainings, just let me know. All right, guys, I will let you go. We'll see you next week on the next leak. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.